The class of 2024 made history with a record-breaking pass rate, but tertiary education institutions were not equipped to handle the demand. 337,000 qualified candidates vied for just 206,000 available spaces at public universities. And now another uphill battle of finding a bed at a university. Despite the construction of on-campus and private residence, the country has just under 300,000 beds available, leaving almost 500,000 students searching for student housing. Many rely on the National Student Financial Aid Scheme.
We don't have much options. We depend solely on NSFAS, and receiving financial assistance, it's a long process, and parents can't afford to pay a huge amount of school fees.
I don't have any other options.
Can your parents pay?
Not really. They can't afford to pay my studies.
In a bid to curb a rising accommodation cost, in 2023, a cap on the accommodation allowance was introduced. A new portal for students to access accommodation was also created to streamline the process.
Before 2023, the accommodation was handled by the academic institutions themselves. And in that time, there were less problems because there's no middleman involved. The student is directly, at the university, communicating directly with the university authorities for accommodation, and they have got the systems in place to place these students in private accommodation that is accredited by the institution. And we feel that that NSFAS should go back to that specific model. So that there is no middleman. What is happening at this stage is that NSFAS appointed service providers who developed a portal where the accommodation provider must register its beds, then it gets accredited, and then the students will be able to look for accommodation on that portal. All of that, of course, with a hefty fee for the accommodation providers.
However, there's been challenges.
2023, we released a investigation report where we have investigated the tenders that was awarded for the portal as well as for the accreditation agents. We found various irregularities that took place during the evaluation of the tenders. We compiled the report, we handed it over to the NSFAS board and former NSFAS board at the time. After the appointment of Mr. Freeman Omvalo as the administrator, we also engaged with him and handed him this report. And we requested NSFAS to have a serious look into the whole process. Just one example is that some of these accreditation agents that must go and inspect the properties to make sure that it complies with the minimum norms and standards of the department, they only registered their companies, after the advertisement came out for the tender.
The Private Student Housing Association is one of the bodies owed 44 million rand by NSFAS.
We have more than 7,000 students that will be affected. At least these are the students that are residing in our residences across the country. I have no doubt that there could be more students affected, especially in the areas where the accommodation providers are not members of the Private Student Housing Association. So the number could be significantly higher.
Last month, the association threatened to evict thousands of students if the outstanding monies were not paid within 2 weeks. The blame was put at the door of the National Student Financial Aid Scheme.
The message is very clear to institutions. Let's allow all NSFAS-funded students to go and register without paying any registration fee.
Okay.
We have also requested the accommodation providers to accommodate even the returning students into those accommodation establishments where they were accommodated, so that we don't have any other hurdles that is relating to the payments on our side.
As protests have erupted at various universities across the country, the issue of student accommodation remains a huge concern, with immense impact on students' social and academic lives. Hasina, Gori, SABC News, Johannesburg.